So in the previous video, we created the basic UI setup for our game, and in this video, we are going to create the all the stages for our game. So let's start creating it. So we have our stage panel. We are going to hide our main panel for now. And after our title, we'll create an empty, which is going to be for our selecting the stages. So we'll rename it as stages, and inside inside our stages we'll first create one stage. So our stage will first create a prefab, and afterwards we'll use this prefab to create the rest of the stages. So it's going to be, let's create an image. So image, and we'll call it stage, and its size is going to be 256 by 256. The sprite is going to be pixel, and its color is going to be gray. uh, and afterwards it's going to have an image which is going to be for the active or the inactive image, which is again going to stretch across the whole screen, and its color for now we'll set it to red. Now after having the image, it's going to have uh, a text which is going to be for the count. Now inside our count, let's make it 256 by 256, make it bold, and the text it's going to be our level, which is going to be the current what we are using. So let's set its size to 160. So this is going to be our basic prefab for our stage. Now we'll save the stage as a prefab, and on this stage we are going to attach a stage select script. So let's create a script and we'll call it stage select, and we are going to use a couple of variables. So we'll also create our constant script, which is going to have our constants used. Now we have our basic stage setup. So what we'll do is we'll first image and the count. Let's create the functionality for our stage first. So this is our stage. So what would happen if we click the stage? So it will need a button component, and it will also need a stage select component. So whatever data is inside our stage, so let's override and we'll edit the both of these components. So let's go inside Visual Studio and let's see what we are going to do our stage select. So the stage select is going to have a reference to the button, so we'll need to use Unity Engine.ui, and it also needs to have a reference to the images and the text. So we'll also need let's just do it later the using TM Pro, and it will also need the first serialized field private integer, which is going to be the button stage, or you can call it whatever you like. So this is the stage for the button. Now whenever the user clicks on that stage, it will get that number which is inside the button, and it will execute the code. So the code it's going to execute is going to be inside our main menu manager, for which we will need to set the instance to this. And let's first see what it will do. So we are inside our stage select. So let's first have a button and a game object. It's going to be the active image, and finally private image, which is going to be the stage image. Now inside our awake, it's always not going to be activated, but when our awake is called, it's going to get the button, uh, get component button, and our active image is going to be the transform dot get child of 0 dot game object, and our stage image is going to be our active image dot get component of the image. Now depending on the stage, we are going to set its color. So whenever it is enabled, we'll set its color. So let's go inside our start, and what we'll do is we'll add button dot on click dot add listener, and we'll add a update stage. So we'll create the update stage afterwards, but let's see what on enable. What will happen when our button is enabled? So first we'll get the current stage name and we'll check if it is active. So if it is active, we'll show our active image game object, and uh, if it is inactive, we'll not show it. So the current stage is going to be inside our constants. We'll create a namespace and we'll call it constants, and here we'll create a public class, and the first class we are going to create is storing all our data, which is going to be for the current stage and the current level. So it's going to be public constant string, and first one is for the current stage and it's going to call current stage. So this is the key for getting it inside the player prefs, and after that we'll do public constants current level, which is going to be the current level, and also the public const string, the setting sound, which we'll create in the next video, is going to be settings sound. Now we have all our data. So what we are going to do inside, will create a stage name constants dot data dot current stage, and will add an underscore, and the current stage name is going to be the button stage dot to string. So it will create a name for the current stage, and after we get this name, we'll check if the current stage is active. So it's going to be stored as an integer inside our player prefs. So we'll check first if player prefs dot has key for the current stage name, then we'll get that key player prefs dot get int current stage name. Else if we cannot find it, then we'll turn it off, and we'll check if our button stage is 1. So it is the first stage, then we'll unlock it. So to unlock it, we'll use stage active equal to 1, and we'll set player prefs dot set int, and for the current stage name we will set it to be the stage active, so it will activate the stage. And after that, active image dot set active to stage, uh, stage active is equals to 1. So it will only show all the stage which has activated or the first stage. Now, whenever the update stage is called, so let's create a private void update stage. What it will do is first it will check if our active image dot is active in hierarchy. So if it is active image in hierarchy, then we'll update the stage. But if it is not active, then it will do nothing. So even if we click it, it's going to do nothing. But if it is, then what we'll do is we'll player prefs dot set int, and we are going to set the integer for the constants dot data dot the current stage to be our button stage. And after setting it up, we also need to set its color, so which is going to be dependent on our current stage. So let's just set main menu manager dot instance, and inside our main menu manager we need to tell our main menu manager that we have clicked our stage buttons, so start showing our level image or the level panel. So we'll call it public void, and it's going to be clicked stage. So whenever we click a stage, it will show the stage panel, hide the stage panel, and show the level panel. And first we'll get the current stage, and after getting the current stage, player prefs dot get int, and we'll do constants dot data dot current stage, and our stage text dot text is going to be stage plus current stage dot to string. So we'll need to create a stage text which is going to be using the TM Pro. So let's use TM Pro, and inside our variables we'll need to create a serialized field, and it's going to be for the private TMP text and for our stage text, so which we are going to use it inside our levels, which is the title of the next panel. And after we update the stage text, we also need to change the color of the title, and we need to instantiate it. So let's see first our stage is working. So let's delete this stage, and uh, let's go inside Unity, and inside our stage by default the button stage is going to be set to 1, and we are not changing the color right now. We'll create a value for the color afterwards, but we'll add all of our stages to our stage. So this one is going to be our stage 1, which is going to have a stage of 1. It's going to be positioned at negative 288 and positive 288. Duplicate the stage 1, let's call it stage 2, and it's going to be positioned at 0. And again we'll duplicate and create a stage 3, which is going to position at positive 288. And we'll duplicate stage 3 and rename it to stage 4, which is going to be positioned at negative and 0. And we'll create the rest of the stages. So Next is the stage 5, which is positioned at x0. And finally, we have our stage 6, which is going to be positioned at positive 288. And finally, we have our last stage, which is going to be positioned at negative 288. So these are all our stages. And currently, the stage 2 needs to have a value of 2. Stage 3 needs to have a value of 3. Stage 4 needs to have a value of 4. Stage 5 needs to have a value of 5. Stage 6 needs to have a value of 6. And stage 7 needs to have a value of 7. And we are going to create a serialized field for the private read-only list of color, and we will call it colors. So I just created one more variable inside our main menu manager, and I think it is not showing up. So let's create our level panel first. So again, it's going to be an empty object, and inside our main menu manager, we'll pass our level panel. Now, for now, let's duplicate this title and paste it inside our level panel, and let's hide our stage panel. Now, here it's going to call stage 1, and instead of stage select is going to call level select, which is going to be the select level. And everything's going to be similar, but here instead of back to main, we are going to use another function, which is back to stage, which we are not created it, but we'll create it afterwards. So this is our default stage, and it needs to be inside our stage. So our level panel needs to be full screen. So let's first put it out. So let's make our, where did our title go? So that is our title. Now our level panel needs to be stretched, and we'll push our title inside our 1, 1 and 1. I don't know why it's getting stretched. So this one is going to be our level panel, and in our level panel, the title text is going to be our stage text. And we'll also attach our active sound image, which is going to be inside our sound. It's not going to do anything right now, but it's good to have it. Now we have a private list of colors in which we are going to add all of our colors. So let's add our first color, which is going to be red, which is fully visible. Next we'll add our orange, and after that we'll add the rest of our colors. So it's going to be green, blue, and dark blue, the purple one, and finally our pink one. So currently our stage should not have much problems. So let's hit play and let's see if we are getting any compiler errors first. So we are not getting any compiler errors for now. Every stage is 1, so it's not doing anything. Our stage has a stage select button, but we are not able to select the stage. So let's hit play and let's see what's the problem. So if we hit on the stage, it's not doing anything because our active image is In active, if active image is active in hierarchy, not active, then we'll return. Okay, so there was a problem with the update stage. So game manager dot instance dot update stage. So let's go inside Visual Studio, and I didn't finish my code, so that was it. That's why it was showing problems. So we'll update the stage. So and we'll also need to set our colors. So whenever our stage select is called on enable, we'll set its color, which is the stage image dot color. It's going to be the main menu manager dot instance dot colors, and uh, it needs to be public. So it's going to be accessed for everywhere, and we are going to use uh, the colors for the button in what we use as the button stage -1. So minus or maybe plus. The buttons are from 1 to 7, so it will use from 0 to 6. So it's just going to set up our color and nothing much. Now inside our main menu manager, whenever we hit any of the clicked stage, we need to call the clicked stage here. And we also need to create our back to stage function, public void back to stage, and inside what we'll do is we'll deactivate the level panel and we'll show our stage panel. So now it should be fixed, and let's go inside Unity and let's see if we have any errors. So we are inside Unity. There are not many typo errors would not be capturing. So if we click one of the stages, it's showing correctly. So uh, what had happened was, I think we set both of them to false. So level panel is false and stage panel is true. And we didn't assign the back. So let's go inside our level panel, and for the back the function is going to be back to stage. Now everything should be working fine. So let's hit play, and we are able to go to the stage 1, and currently we didn't add a space, so we know like it is getting the current stage from here. Now the let's check if all of our stages have different colors. So instead of having the button stage is equals to 1, we'll check if button stage is greater than 0. So it will show all of our colors. So just for checking, I just for the starting condition, instead of 1, I just change the condition to every one of them. And we also need to change the text, so that's also a good thing to know. So let's go inside our Visual Studio, and here we have greater than 0, so it will unlock every stage. And on enable, we need to set the text, which is going to be private tmpro dot tmp text, and this is going to be, let's just call it count text. And inside our awake, we'll just do count text is equals to get component in children, and we'll use tmpro dot tmp text. So it will directly get our count text. And before enabling, we'll set the count text dot text to be our button stage dot toString. So whenever our stage is selected, it automatically updates our buttons count. So you can have as many buttons as you want. And if you want to initialize it, all you need to do is inside the awake function, when the button is instantiated, we'll set the button stage value to whatever number we want, and it will automatically set the colors and the numbers when it's instantiated. So let's go inside our scene and let's hit play. So we should be able to see our main menu, and we have all of our buttons. So we have the stage 2, stage 6, stage 1, stage 7. So it's showing all of our buttons. And the final thing we need to do is also setting our title color. So whenever the stage select is called, it updates the state of our title. So we have the current stage. So we'll need an image. So it's going to be private image. We are not using Unity Engine.ui, so we need to use it using Unity Engine.ui. So this is going to be the last step, using Unity Engine.ui, and we'll create a private image and we'll call it stage color in level panel. So it's good to use large numbering so you can know what you set the variable name. So at the end, when the stage is clicked, when the level panel is set active to true, what we'll do is stage color in level panel, it's going to be for the colors, and will pass the current stage -1. And for that level panel, we'll use the dot color. So it will automatically set up our stage title color, and that should be the last thing that will be needed. And all we need to do is assign our title to our main menu manager, and we should be able to click all of our stages. So these are just the colored stages, and it just looks good. So that was it for this video, and we are able to change and update the different stages. In the next video, we are going to create the audio manager, which is going to add sounds to all of our buttons. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.